I miss Quartet Nights. So I started reading JJK well before the anime came out, back when this was just a relatively new Bleach Naruto type manga brimming with potential before it became the gateway drug to being a weeb that it is now. And it appears the series has finally reached its climax in popularity because it has its very own SAG. So yeah, this game's a SAG. It's so saggy, in fact, your grandpa probably thinks it's hot. Like, everything from the fact that it's an arena fighter to the fact that it does not have an original story just reeks of SAG. But buried under all of these crummy, cheap aspects, I think exists a mediocre game, not a terrible one. Can you tell I'm huffing the copium? I spent $80 on this. What? So because these anime games tend to go on sale very often, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to review this game based on how much it costs, of course. But then at the end, I'll tell you how much it's actually worth. Okay, let's get into it. Now, before going through the story, which obviously teaches you how to play the game, I wanted to just mess around a little bit. Like, if a game can be fun the moment you pick it up, especially a fighting game, that can really speak to the effort and care put into this. Like, when I started playing Guilty Gear Strive, and before I became the best main in the world because I perfected the guy one time, I had never played Guilty Gear before. However, it immediately felt fun because my character attacks were creative, the music bopped, and the art style was captivating. I didn't even know how to play the game in order for it to be a fun experience. This isn't that, but you knew that already. Come on, you saw the thumbnail. Let's do Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash. The first thing that jumped out to me was weirdly, wow, this reminds me of Clash of Ninja Revolution on the Wii. Yes, I am the first person in 15 years to talk about the game. Give me a cookie. Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to invoke nostalgia of early 2000s anime games with the generic music, the clips of the show instead of the actual cutscenes. Oh, sorry, not even clips. No, not even clips. Literally just stills. Oh, and you can't forget the
opponents who are easy to throw.
Eat that kind of food.
Can you speak up? Can you speak up a little? I mean, you can change this in settings, but it's still really weird that it's like this by default. Also, the CPUs are spammers. This game is released in the 2020s by a major publisher. I am in shock. Wait, it's Bandai. I should have expected this. The game can recover from a bad first impression. My least favorite game for years was Twilight Princess, because as a Zelda fan who was really excited to play it, the first 10 hours of the game really disappointed me. But I am always one to go back to a piece of media I didn't like. And with Twilight Princess, the, second half picked up. There is the other half of this argument, however, when something turns out to be good at first, but then mediocre later. Like, no matter how many times you go back to it, it's still mediocre. Looking at you, Bleach. Peak fiction, yeah, okay. Where were you calling it peak fiction when the manga was being rushed to end due to low readership? Bum-ass Bleach fans, I swear, bro. Still though, I hope you know that I try to squeeze every single drop of value I can when reviewing something. So let's squeeze this saggy bag of milk for every drop a game it has to offer. Story mode. Story mode is just the anime, but with stills, like I said earlier. I remember liking the way Burning Blood reused stuff from the anime. Like, they had the Paramount War with cutscenes using in-game graphics. And I remember liking how Quartet Nights at least had an original story, but not liking how they occasionally use stills. What if we had the worst of both worlds? Yeah, honestly, why even make a story if you're gonna make it like this? Just do mission battles or whatever, Now, besides giving some actual animation, I want to try to cope. I want to think of some ways that this game couldn't have been terrible. Now, if they really were insistent on not writing an original story, wouldn't it have been cool if they adapted the calling game into this game? You could have literally called it the calling game. I'm a genius. I don't know the specifics on how Bandai has the rights to make a JJK game, whether it's through Mappa or directly through Shueisha, so they can only cover stuff that's been animated or they can cover stuff directly from the manga. I do not know, but I suspect it's likely both, and I assume that even if it wasn't, they should be able to work something out. So imagine like they make a game based on the calling game, and without going into manga spoilers, the plot of the calling game would be perfect for the story of an arena fighter. And this would give incentive for people who maybe don't want to read the manga and don't want to wait for the anime to see how the story continues. Like, bro, they're not going to be making a future anime adaptation for a long time. And something like this isn't going to take away from that adaptation because it's completely different. We've seen anime movies get animated way before the part of the story actually gets put in the series, and something like this has far less overlap than even that. It would also allow for fans to play as fan-favorite calling game characters like Higuruma, Hikari, and the femboy farmer. Oh, and Receipt Man, I love him, who can basically manifest powers based on receipts he finds. One of my favorite abilities in all of Shonen, I swear. Imagine if you put him in this and he could manifest a power based on the receipt for this game, and it one-shots everything because this game has even more overwhelming evil than Sukuna. Do you get it? Do you get it? It's because this game is subpar. Sorry, I'm getting like way too off topic. My ADHD's kicking in. I remember when the teacher first diagnosed me with the ADHD. She went up to me. She went up to me and she said, "You need special ed." I'm sorry about this. Curse Clash is slowly degrading my cognitive functions. Oh, there you go, Bandai. That's a selling point. Now, the core gameplay is fine. It really is. Do not misinterpret me. It's acceptable. It's not good. It's fine. If there was some more effort put into this, I really think there would be, I don't know, something to build off with this combat. It's not bad. See, how it works is, in any given match, whether a solo team or a regular team, you're supposed to beat up on your opponent, build some curse energy with standard attacks, and then you can combine that cursed energy with the standard attacks or use cursed techniques to actually deal damage to them. None of these mechanics are particularly unique, but they're not bad, you know? Like, I don't know, I had some fun playing it. I got bored really quickly, but I had some fun. The thing that really drags the combat down is mostly the maps. Not only are they not interesting, they're huge, and this game really doesn't feel like it was designed for maps this big. You constantly have to dash in order to close the gap, which gets really annoying after a while. I feel like they really could have done a better job at making use of all this space by having like those really huge attacks that some characters have. Like the Goat's Meteor or Maharaga's just existence. Dude, how cool would it be to have the op stop on this?
You can see it, can't you? You can see my sexually suggestive tramp stamp, Maharaga!
What the heck is this guy on about, man? What the heck?
The more you fight in a given match, the more your standard SAG charge meter fills up, and you can use domain expansion with characters who have one, like Gojo, Megumi, Sukuna, or just like a cool finisher with the ones that don't, like Nobara, Yuji, and Maki. The domain expansions are some of the instances where actual effort feels like it was put in this game. Like the 3D models just move really like fluidly and honestly look great for an anime game. But I really am grasping at straws here to find something positive. So to sum up what we've gathered so far, this game is not so mechanically flawed as it is shallow. This is the game equivalent of the girl on Hinge whose entire personality is based on her mild dislike of Ranch. Like, screw you, I like Ranch. Domain expansion, Hidden Valley. I think the biggest insult though is that in spite of all of this, they're still hinting at Toji DLC. Like, it's such an insult to the fans who expect them to buy more of this. Like, dangling a fan favorite like Toji is such a scummy way to do business.
Hey, you, what's your name?
It's Megami.
I meant your last name. You have a girl's name.
My last name's Fushi.
Girl name, loser, haven't asked girl name. You f***ing girl. Wait, I once f***ed a girl, and we had a kid together, but what was his name? Hey, girl name Haver. Tell my son Maki he can have my sword. It's a spear.
You, it's not a spear!
The online works okay. It's probably gonna fade away in a few months. But it has some mildly interesting features, like the ability to make binding vows. Basically, you give yourself custom buffs in exchange for debuffs. This is the kind of thing I think myself and everyone else is asking for in these anime games. A mechanic that is not only interesting and unique, but also that ties into the source material well. Because yeah, that's how binding vows actually work in the manga and anime. But again, the online's gonna fade away, so who cares? Can you tell I just want to talk about anything else other than Curse Clash? I am so done with this. Like, never before in my life have I downloaded a game and thought of all the other ways I could use the $80 while it was downloading. I could have bought stocks, I could have bought Arby, I could have burned the money to create greenhouse gas emissions. Let's end off with unlockables, okay, boys? Unlockables. You get okay costumes, you can get some voice lines, but that's it. Easily the most underwhelming anime game I've played in a while. So $79.99. Is it worth that? I'm not even gonna make a joke. It's not. The only circumstance I would ever buy this game is if it was on sale for like $7 or less and you're a huge JJK fan. Because any indie game out there, and I mean any, is probably going to be worth more than this. Any.
Just like, subscribe, bye.